Hello lovely people, and welcome to this week's video. So as you can see, today I'm in a very different place. I'm actually in my yurt, and the picture isn't quite so good because it's quite dark in here, but you'll just have to bear with me with that. So the reason I'm in here is because I'm teaching from in here this week, so I thought I'd make the video from here too. So this week we're working with the idea of the field and the knower. And in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the book that we're working from, the field is meant to be the body. So the field is kind of how you interact with the world. And the knower is the true central self, the soul, if you like, that lives within the body. So the invitation today is to trying to just come into the place, the true self that is within you. Now, as you can see, probably, I am surrounded by all sorts of different things. I've got a bolster here, I've got a belt, I've got cushions, I've got blankets. And the reason for this is because today, in this place of trying to observe our true, or be our true selves, observing our body and ourselves, we're going to do a very slow practice. It won't be as slow on the video as it will be when we come together, but it will give you an idea of what we're going to do. And of course, if you're not coming to class, you can always just pause the video and stay in the poses for longer if you want to. So we're going to begin by, I've actually got two blocks here, two of my nice soft blocks. So you can use a cushion or a couple of cushions. We're going to come and, so I'm sitting up a little bit higher than I would normally. And I'm going to come and sit with my feet together. So I've got the soles of my feet together. At the moment I'm sitting up nice and straight. Got my hands gently on the sides. Now, if this feels really intense for you around here, you can always get a couple of blocks like that or a couple of cushions and bring them in to support your legs, because it can be quite intense around here. So do what's right for you. I'm taking a little chin mudra here. You don't have to, but if you would like to, and you can have it upwards or downwards like that. And we're just going to be here for a moment. So we're trying to just allow ourselves to sink into this place. So you can close the eyes or lower the gaze and just dropping into this pose. So nowhere to go, no need to move unless it becomes really uncomfortable. Just being here. So if this feels nice for you and you've got a little bit of a stretch along here and in different places in the legs, then just stay here. If you feel like you're not feeling very much, then what you can do is to bring your hands forward and just bring them down onto the mat here. So now I can begin to feel a bit of a stretch up here. So I'm not bending over at the moment. I've got my back quite straight. And I'm just bringing the hands forward. So it may be that that's a bit too much for you, in which case you could get a block and just have a block under the hand, both hands, so that you're coming to where you can feel it, but where it's not feeling too much. Still got my back straight here. And then now I can just allow my head to drop, just taking the weight of the head down. So I can feel this in my back a little bit now as well, but it's fairly opening in the legs a little bit anyway. So we're only beginning, so this is only meant to be gentle. So if it feels too much, back off. Beautiful. So in the class, as I say, we will spend longer there than we did just now. But we're going to now come down and lie on the mat. So you can take your blocks away for now. And so we're going to come and lie down into semi-supine. So this is with the heels behind the bottom. And we're just relaxing here for a moment. Maybe just take a couple of pelvic tilts, just dropping the lower spine down on the exhale and coming back to the neutral place. So what we're going to do now is we're going to inhale and bring one knee up to the chest. It doesn't matter which you do. Exhale, taking that foot up to the ceiling. Inhaling here, keeping that leg straight. Exhale, bring that foot down. Inhale, take it to the floor. Exhale here. Inhaling the other leg up. Exhaling up to the ceiling. Inhale there. Exhale down. Inhale back. Exhale there. So we'll do that again. Inhaling up. Exhaling to the top. Inhaling there. Exhaling down. Inhaling back. Exhaling there, then inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. Lovely. So you've enjoyed that slow, beautiful place. So we're going to now come up, back up to sitting, and I'm going to invite you, if you want to, just to have one of these or something like this, a cushion under the bottom if you want to. You don't have to. I feel like it's good for me. I need it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring my legs out as wide as they'll go. So yours may just be there, or they may be much more than mine. Though it's not a competition. We're just opening them to where they'll go. So you should, when you open them, you should feel a little bit of something from here, but not too much. Okay, just going to have the hands in front, sitting up nice and straight. I've got this block behind me, so it's helping me to sit up. And we're just relaxing in this pose. So I'm keeping my feet, my toes flexed, my feet flexed, toes moving towards me. Couple of breaths here. Now either stay here, or if that feels like there's not much happening, then you can just begin. I'm keeping my back straight, but just begin to walk the hands out. Maybe give yourself a bit of a wriggle to sort of get yourself into that place. So I can really feel that in here now. So I'm going to try and relax my hands and relax my head. And just letting myself go. So dropping down, trying to keep the feet moving towards the body. So it's, although we're trying to relax into the pose, we're also trying to stay so that we're active here. We're not just letting go and flopping at the moment. We'll do that later. Beautiful. So just being here for a few more breaths. Lovely. So we're going to come back up again. If you want to stay there longer, just pause the video. We're going to come back up, finding your way gently back. I'm turning to the side so that you can see what I'm doing now. So I've got my block behind me. I'm just going to sit on the edge of it to help me sitting up. But I'm actually sitting in, I'm sitting up into staff pose now. So I'm upright, nice and upright. We did this last week with the legs, moving the toes towards. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to raise the other leg, raise one leg, and I'm going to bring this leg over. So it may be that bringing it over just to there feels like it's a lot to you, and maybe you're getting a big stretch there. So if that's the case, then just leave it there, and you can hold onto the leg or just have the hands down. If you feel like you can come a bit further and bring the foot all the way over, I mean, I didn't used to be able to do this at all, but bringing the side of the foot onto the ground. So I've got my kind of knees like one on top of the other here, facing the front. So I can already feel this in the back of this knee here. If you're doing that and it just feels too much, I mean, back off, but you can also put something like a blanket under there to help that if it feels too much. So just make sure that you're doing what is right for you. So sitting up to begin, I can feel already it's stretching there. I can feel it a little bit on the outside of this leg here. Couple of breaths there, and then, I mean, we're going to take longer than this to do this in the class, but then just gently walking the hands forward, again keeping the back straight, but I can really feel how that's stretching out the back of that leg now. So again, trying to keep the toes moving towards the body. And then we can now, it may be that you can come a lot more further forward than me if you're a lot more flexible, which I know a lot of people are. So if you can do that. And then we can just drop the head over. So I can really feel this. It feels really quite intense, but it's not hurting me. I'm not doing too much. Beautiful. So we'll come back. And we'll just swap over, so doing the other side. So lifting the other leg up and taking it to the other side. So take it to where is good for you. And we'll sit upright to begin with. And then when you're ready, if you want to, leaning forwards. Just staying within your limits, you know. Working towards your edge, and if it starts to feel painful, dropping the head down. If it starts to feel painful, you just back off again, okay? And you can work with the breath as well, which I should have said before. So you can work with the breath, so as you exhale, just deepening a little bit into it. As you inhale, moving out. So I should have said that right at the beginning. So again, just being with yourself, being with what's happening, working with the breath, and allowing everything to drop. Beautiful. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back into sitting with the legs bent, but we're going to take the feet out to the side, hands behind, and we're just going to do a little windscreen wiper thing, which we did this last week as well. So just dropping the legs all the way over to one side and then coming up to the middle and dropping them over the other way. Beautiful. So now we're going to come into pigeon. I've got my foot slightly to the side, this one, and that might be good for you. So we're not, if we're kind of sitting up, but if this is hurting, if this is coming into the low back, then just let go. So this is meant to be working for the legs rather than for the back, for the low back here. So if you feel like you can come up and sit up a bit and drop the hips a bit, because that opens up this back hip a bit, then that's good. But if you really feel it in the back, then do back off. Lovely. So if you want to go a bit further, you can come down onto the forearms here. And this feels a little bit more in this leg, in this top leg here. So just being with that. And if you want to go even further, you can just drop the head down onto the floor. And what that does is that really squeezes the muscles in this leg, which is really good for squeezing the toxins out of the body. So just being where you are, you might have your hands on your head on your hands like this. Just dropping down again, using the breath to take you deep into the posture. Really beautiful. Lovely. Okay. So we're going to do the other side. I'm going to turn around to do the other side. So with this, really looking after yourself. With this side, I have to be a lot more careful. So I don't really bring my foot out very far because it will hurt my knee. So again, just coming back to it, making sure you're going to be comfortable. What I didn't say on the last side is that if you want to, you can take a block and put it underneath this hip, the other hip, if that helps you to sit up nice and straight. So doing whatever's good for you. For me, I don't feel this so much in the back, so I can sit up nice and straight and begin to feel this stretch in the leg here. But then I can come down onto my elbows, resting here, feeling it a bit more, and then just come to wherever is good for you. Lovely. So staying there, if that's good for you. If this isn't possible for you because of knees or whatever, you can do it on your back, pigeon on your back, and I'm going to show you how you would do this. You might be able to do it with just your hands, or you might need a belt. So we'll start with me just showing it for you just with your hands. So you can bring one foot up onto the other into the four. We quite often do this in the class. And then raising the bottom leg. And if it's accessible for you, taking the hands behind the knee. And what happens here is you can then drop from here, dropping the shoulders, just allowing the weight of the legs to just drop down here. But I can't really feel this in my hip, in this leg, which is what we're trying to do. So I'm going to choose in this position to take my hands around in front of the bottom knee here, and so that really opens the side of that leg up a lot more for me here. But actually it feels a bit much. I don't feel that comfortable here. I feel like it's a good stretch, and I'm kind of relaxing, but I don't really feel relaxed. So what I can do is I can take the belt and take it in front of that knee, and then take my hands along the belt. And what that means, I need to grab hold of it, but what that means then is that I can then drop here. So that's a good stretch on the knee, on the leg there, on the upper leg, but it means that I can actually just drop, and I'm not having to really hold. I can just allow the weight of the legs to drop down. So you can do that, or you can bring it to here, to the inside of there. But I always suggest having the arms straight. If you have your arms bent, then that means that you're using ab muscles to hold the thing up. Whereas if your arms are straight like that, then I can let go of my ab muscles and just try and drop. What I'm trying to get across to you is that by doing this, you are coming almost into a bit of a yin thing here. So you're just allowing the body to drop and to the weight of the body to stretch the muscles. Okay, so that's what you can do on the back for the pigeon if doing it like we were doing doesn't feel right. Okay, so the next pose is coming up into this position like this. So this is into a wide-legged stance. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my legs out a bit wider. So just go to where's good for you. See, I've got this lovely woolen thing here. It does mean I don't have so much grip, but it's lovely to be on. So, but anyway, so from here, if dropping your head down from here feels really difficult, you can bring a couple of blocks to have your hands on and then drop the head down. So the idea is that we're just taking the feet out as wide as they'll go, as wide as feels comfortable. I'm actually slipping here, but anyway. And then just taking the head down and dropping. So just going to where you can. I'm really slipping out here, but just try and be on a mat so you're not slipping, and just feel yourself really stretching into those legs. I'm going here. We're then going to come and do something else, which is to bend one knee and come over, and I'm keeping the other foot down on the ground, and I'm just bending this knee as far as I can, and I can feel this here, and I can also feel it in this leg as well. And then I'm just going to move across and do it on the other side, keeping the top of that foot down. So you can do that again, or you can come right over. I have to come up onto my toes here, and I'm actually turning the other foot up, flexing that foot, and this is a beautiful stretch all the way down. It's in a different place to anywhere we've stretched today, down along here. It's really lovely. So it may be that you can do that, it may be that you can't, in which case you just stick with the first version. But if you can do it, coming to the other side. Beautiful. So then from here, we're going to bring the feet together, and I have some of these again too. So we've got the feet close together here. I'm bending my knees, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one foot and cross it over the other one. Both knees are still bent. Okay. I can have a block underneath here if I want to. I'm going to turn around now so that you can see what on earth it is I'm talking about. So I've got legs bent, crossed one over the other, having this in front of me if I need it. Yeah. And then from here, so I can take my block away, from here I can already feel that's a lovely stretch all the way up at this IT band here on this leg. Again, we haven't stretched there today, so it's a lovely place. And then only if you feel like there is movement at all, I can begin to straighten the knees and let the head drop a bit further. It's quite intense, so just go to where's right for you. And then when you've done that, crossing the other leg over, again, knees bent to begin with. So I've just got one foot in front, one foot on the other side, both legs bent, let the head fall, and then, if I feel like it, straightening the legs. So I'm not going to stay there for very long because I'm out of time, but you can spend as long as you like in those poses. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do in the relaxation this week, which is that we're going to have something like this. I've got this lovely bolster, but it may be that you have just a couple of blankets or something. So I've got a cushion and a blanket. I'm going to put my knees on top of the bolster, head down onto the cushion here, legs slightly apart but on the bolster, arms out to the side. and just letting yourself relax here. So this is a really lovely, comfortable position to relax in. So just be here for as long as you want to. Just because I move, it doesn't mean that you need to. Beautiful. So, thank you for joining me with this week's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you're coming to class, then I might see you in here this week, maybe. Lots of love. Namaste.